The 1944 S's Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those coins that carries with it both history and hidden value, making it a fascinating piece of American numismatics. Struck at the San Francisco Mint during the height of World War II, this coin is more than just a cent. It represents an era when every small detail of life was affected by the war effort. Collectors prize the 1944 S Wheat Penny not only for its condition and rarity, but also for the story it tells about America in the 1940s. Unlike modern coins, which are produced in the billions with state-of-the-art machinery, the 1944 S was struck using minting equipment that often produced slight variations. These small differences, including strike sharpness, die wear, and plancher quality, have created subtle varieties that collectors are always on the lookout for. While the coin had a high mintage compared to some other dates, surviving specimens in pristine condition remain scarce. That scarcity, paired with its historical significance, is why top-graded examples can command a market value of up to $30,900 today. The obverse of the coin features the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, who first introduced his design to the cent in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. On the 1944 S issue, Lincoln's portrait is still bold and deeply struck in higher-grade coins, but in lower-grade examples, the details of his hair, cheekbones, and coat may appear soft due to the minting process. Above his head, the motto, "In God We Trust," arches across the rim, while to the left of the portrait sits the word, "Liberty." To the right, the date 1944 is prominently displayed, with the small S mint mark directly below it. This mint mark signifies the San Francisco Mint, which was responsible for striking this particular issue. Even something as small as the placement and clarity of the mint mark can influence the desirability of a coin, with some collectors carefully examining whether it is sharply defined or slightly filled due to die deterioration. Turning to the reverse, we find the classic wheat ears design that gave these cents their popular name. Two stylized stalks of wheat curve upward along the left and right rims, framing the bold lettering in the center. The words 1 cent dominate the middle of the reverse, while United States of America rests just below. Across the top rim, the Latin motto A pluribus unum can be seen, signifying out of many one. On well-preserved examples, the fine lines within the wheat stalks are still clearly visible, and this detail is crucial in determining condition. A coin where these lines remain sharp indicates minimal circulation, making it far more valuable to collectors. In contrast, heavily circulated coins often show flatness in the wheat ears, loss of definition in the lettering, and general wear that drastically lowers their desirability. The composition of the 1944 S Lincoln cent is another factor that sparks interest among collectors. After the experimental 1943 steel cent, the U.S. Mint returned to using a bronze alloy for the 1944 issue, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, because the nation was still recovering from wartime shortages, a small number of 1944 cents were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from the previous year. These error coins are incredibly rare and can fetch astonishing sums when they appear at auction. While the standard bronze 1944 S is already collectible in higher grades, the possibility of encountering an error example adds a layer of excitement for those who search rolls or collections for hidden treasures. Rarity plays an essential role in determining the value of this coin. Although the San Francisco Mint struck more than 282 million examples of the 1944 S cent, the vast majority were heavily circulated. During the 1940s, few people thought of setting aside pennies as collectibles, so most were used daily in commerce. Today, uncirculated or mint-state specimens are the real prize, with gem-quality coins in grades like MS-65 or MS-67 being especially scarce. Professional grading services such as NGC and PCGS have certified a limited number of these coins in top condition, and their population reports reflect just how challenging it is to find them without significant marks, scratches, or wear. The combination of grade rarity and collector demand is why the market value can climb as high as $3,900 for pristine examples. The appeal of the 1944 Wheat Penny goes beyond condition and rarity. It is also deeply tied to collector demand. Wheat pennies as a whole enjoy immense popularity in the numismatic community because they were produced for decades and serve as a gateway series for new collectors. The San Francisco Mint issues, in particular, attract attention because they often had lower mintages compared to the Philadelphia Mint, making them desirable additions to sets. Many hobbyists aim to build complete Lincoln wheat cent collections, including every date and mint mark combination, which naturally increases demand for coins like the 1944 S. Even those who already own an example may be searching for upgrades, pushing prices higher in the auction market. Another factor worth noting is eye appeal. Not all coins of the same grade are equally attractive. A 1944 S cent with rich original red luster will often sell for a premium compared to one that is toned brown or developed unattractive spots. Collectors often favor coins that still appear vibrant, as though they just left the mint. Additionally, coins with strong strikes, minimal contact marks, and uniform coloration are considered choice examples and regularly outperform average specimens in terms of price. This is why two coins in the same certified grade can sometimes sell for very different amounts, depending on how much eye appeal they carry. In terms of historical significance, the 1944 S is a reminder of a critical moment in U.S. history, struck. During the final year of major Allied offensives in World War II, these coins circulated at a time when American industry was fully mobilized for the war effort. Every cent held meaning, from rationing programs to war bonds, and people often carried these pennies in their pockets while waiting for news from overseas. Owning a 1944 S wheat penny is not just about possessing a piece of copper. It is about holding a tangible artifact from one of the most pivotal decades of the 20th century. This historical context adds emotional weight to the coin, enhancing its appeal far beyond face value. When discussing the value of the 1944 S wheat penny, it is essential to understand how market trends evolve. Coin values are not fixed. They fluctuate depending on demand, availability, and the results of major auctions. For example, if a high-grade example achieves a record-breaking price at a prestigious auction house, that sale can set a new benchmark for what collectors are willing to pay. Over time, this can raise the perceived value of the coin across the market. Conversely, if many new examples suddenly appear, the value may stabilize. As of today, however, certified gem-quality 1944 S cents remain scarce enough to command as much as $3,900, proving that collector enthusiasm for this coin continues to be strong. Collectors and historians alike see the 1944 S wheat penny as a link between everyday commerce and the broader story of America during the 1940s. From its distinctive San Francisco S mint mark to its durable bronze composition, from its wartime origins to its survival in high grades, this coin embodies everything that makes numismatics such a rewarding hobby. Whether someone discovers one in an inherited collection or seeks it out at a coin show, the thrill of owning a piece valued at thousands of dollars is undeniable. While millions were minted, the ones that survive in pristine condition have crossed the line from common currency to coveted collectible. That transformation, from pocket change to a $3,900 treasure, is what makes the 1944 S Lincoln wheat penny one of the most captivating coins in the world of U.S. cents. Next up, the 1945 No Mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny stands out as a fascinating collectible not because of an unusual design or a striking error, but because of its deep connection to American history and the nuances of rarity within the world of numismatics. Issued at the Philadelphia Mint during the final year of World War II, this penny circulated at a time when the United States was on the verge of victory, and every aspect of the nation's economy was still influenced by the wartime effort. While billions of Lincoln cents were produced in the 1940s, collectors often search for pristine, well-preserved specimens of this year because high-grade examples are scarce despite the large mintage. The 1945 Philadelphia issue carries no mint mark, which is typical for coins struck at that facility, but what sets this penny apart is the demand it generates among collectors today, driving its value as high as $3,500 when preserved in top condition. 1. Of the most compelling aspects of the 1945 Philadelphia cent is its place in history. It was struck in the same year that World War II came to an end, with the Allied victory in Europe in May and the surrender of Japan in September. These pennies were used by soldiers returning home, by families saving coins for war bonds, and by citizens adjusting to the post-war economy. Unlike modern cents, which often sit forgotten in jars or drawers, the 1945 penny had immense purchasing power in its time. A single cent could buy a piece of candy, contribute to a soda, or make change for a streetcar ride. Holding one today is like holding a piece of everyday life from the mid-20th century, and that human connection is part of why collectors seek it out so passionately. Although the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion wheat pennies in 1945, the sheer quantity does not diminish the rarity of high-quality survivors. Most of these coins entered circulation immediately, and very few were set aside in uncirculated rolls. As a result, while circulated examples are common and usually worth just a few cents, gem-quality pieces in grades such as MS-65 or MS-66 are dramatically scarcer. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC report that only a limited number of certified specimens achieve these higher grades, and those are the coins that sell for thousands of dollars at auctions. It is this disparity between the massive original mintage and the tiny surviving population of superb coins that fuels the high market value. Grading plays a massive role in determining the price of a 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny. Collectors and investors often look at four key aspects: luster, strike, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. A coin that still exhibits its original copper-red shine with minimal contact marks is far more desirable than one that has darkened to brown or shows distracting spots. The difference in price between a brown circulated coin and a brilliant, red uncirculated example can be thousands of dollars. Coins graded MS-67 red are among the most coveted, and auction results show that collectors are willing to pay substantial premiums for those few examples that meet the criteria. This focus on grading explains why two seemingly identical coins can sell for vastly different amounts. The details matter, and collectors will chase perfection. Beyond condition, historical context also drives the appeal of the 1945 cent. During the war years, the Mint had experimented with alternative materials, such as the steel cent of 1943, to conserve copper for the war effort. By 1945, however, the Mint had returned fully to a bronze alloy, which was composed primarily of copper. The decision to restore copper usage was a signal of America's economic stabilization as the war came to a close. Each 1945 penny is therefore symbolic of a turning point in history, representing not just a piece of currency, but a marker of recovery and optimism. Collectors value this symbolism as much as the coin itself, adding an emotional dimension to its monetary worth. Another factor contributing to the desirability of the 1945 Philadelphia wheat penny is its place in complete Lincoln cent collections. The wheat cent series spans from 1909 to 1958, and building a full date and mint mark set is one of the most popular goals for collectors worldwide. While some years are notorious for their rarity, such as the 1909 SVDB or the 1914 D, other years like 1945 may not initially seem scarce. Yet to complete a collection, every date is necessary, and collectors pursuing the finest sets are particularly keen on obtaining the highest possible grade for each slot. This means that even a relatively common date, like the 1945 no mint mark penny, becomes highly competitive when preserved in extraordinary condition, pushing its auction values upward. Auction history tells us much about how market demand for this coin has grown. Examples graded MS-67. Red have sold for thousands of dollars at major auction houses, with some achieving prices exceeding $3,000 or more. These records show that collectors are not only willing but eager to pay high sums for premium examples. This trend highlights how the market is shaped by both scarcity and desire. The fewer high-grade survivors there are, the more competitive the bidding becomes. Interestingly, even though circulated examples remain affordable, it is the chase for the best preserved coins that drives the spotlight and gives this issue its reputation as a valuable collectible. Eye appeal remains a critical component of value. A 1945 penny with bright original color, minimal spotting, and an attractive overall appearance can outperform a technically similar coin that appears dull or has uneven toning. Collectors often remark that coins are judged first by the eye, then by the grade, which is why strong visual impact often commands a premium. Some examples display beautiful natural toning, with shades of red, gold, or even hints of rainbow hues that developed over decades of careful storage. Such coins are particularly prized by specialists who appreciate the individuality that toning brings, making no two examples exactly alike. It is also worth mentioning that varieties and errors add further intrigue to the 1945 Philadelphia cent. While the majority of coins were struck without significant mistakes, occasional doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or planchet errors have been identified. These varieties are actively pursued by specialists, and depending on the type and severity of the error, values can increase dramatically. For example, a doubled die obverse that shows doubling in the lettering or date can be worth hundreds, or even thousands more than a standard issue in similar condition. Collectors often examine their 1945 pennies closely for such anomalies, hoping to uncover hidden treasures that might otherwise go unnoticed. When considering its overall appeal, the 1945 no-mint mark wheat penny is more than just a piece of bronze. It is a blend of history, rarity, condition, and collector enthusiasm. It represents the optimism of a post-war America, the challenge of finding high-grade survivors, and the thrill of owning something that others are competing for in the marketplace. While most of these pennies remain common in circulated grades, the ones preserved with their original mint brilliance are scarce enough to inspire bidding wars. This balance between commonality and scarcity makes the coin fascinating, accessible for new collectors, yet highly rewarding for advanced numismatists who manage to secure a superb gem. Ultimately, the story of the 1945 Philadelphia wheat penny is one of transformation. It began as ordinary pocket change, struck in vast numbers to keep up with a bustling wartime economy. Decades later, however, it has become a sought-after collectible, with a market value that can soar to $3,500 under the right conditions. Each coin carries with it the legacy of the era in which it was struck, the hands it may have passed through, and the potential it holds in today's numismatic market. For collectors, it is not simply about owning a cent. It is about owning a story, a memory, and a tangible connection to one of the most important years in American history. Next up, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a remarkable coin that captures a fascinating moment in American history and numismatics. Struck at the Denver Mint in the early years of the post-World War II era, this coin reflects not only the economic optimism of the 1950s but also the enduring popularity of the wheat cent series. While many people might assume that pennies from the 1950s are too modern to hold significant value, the 1950 proves otherwise. Collectors place immense importance on this particular issue, and its market value, which can reach up to $3,200, demonstrates how demand, scarcity in certain conditions, and historical resonance can elevate a seemingly ordinary coin into a true collectible treasure. The early 1950s marked a transformative period for the United States. The country was booming economically, the baby boom was well underway, and consumer culture was reshaping daily life. Against this backdrop, the 1950 penny circulated as ordinary pocket change, used for everything from bus fares to candy purchases. Millions of them were produced, yet like so many coins of the era, they were quickly absorbed into commerce, showing wear from everyday use. What makes the 1950 stand out is the relatively small number of examples that survive today in excellent condition, making it a more challenging coin for collectors who strive to build complete Lincoln cent sets. The Denver Mint played an essential role in American coinage throughout the mid-20th century. Coins struck there bear the D Mint mark, and collectors often regard Denver issues with special interest, as production quantities and strike characteristics varied from year to year. In 1950, the Denver Mint produced a healthy supply of wheat cents, but unlike Philadelphia issues, many were dispersed heavily into circulation in the western United States, where they endured extensive handling. The survival rate of coins in sharp detail is far smaller than the original production might suggest. This helps explain why the 1950 is so appealing to collectors. Millions were struck, yet only a fraction retained the level of preservation. That makes them highly sought after today. Another reason the 1950 is valued so highly is its essential place in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. The series itself began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth and continued until 1958. Collectors love this series because it offers both affordability in common dates and significant challenge in scarcer issues. Completing a set of wheat cents by date and mint mark is a popular collecting goal, and the 1950 plays a crucial role in this pursuit. While it is not the rarest of the wheat cents, its relative scarcity in top condition ensures it cannot be overlooked. Collectors working on comprehensive sets are always searching for strong examples, and this persistent demand helps sustain its market value. Auction records provide another layer of intrigue to the 1950 wheat penny. Over the years, well-preserved examples have appeared at major coin auctions, where competitive bidding has driven prices into the thousands. These auctions highlight how collector enthusiasm and limited supply interact to determine value. Even when multiple examples are offered, the excitement remains high because each coin carries subtle differences in color, strike, and overall appearance. This unpredictability keeps interest alive and ensures that the 1950 maintains a strong presence in the numismatic market. It is also worth exploring the historical and cultural atmosphere that surrounds this coin. By 1950, America was experiencing a new kind of prosperity, with technological innovations, suburban expansion, and a renewed sense of national identity. This penny circulated in an era when a cent still had purchasing power. Children saved them in piggy banks, families used them for daily expenses, and banks rolled them for commercial use. For many Americans, the Lincoln cent was the most familiar coin in their pockets. Today, finding a 1950 penny can feel like unearthing a small-time capsule that links us directly to the lives of people who lived through that optimistic decade. Varieties and minting quirks also add to the appeal of the 1950 cent. While not as famous for dramatic errors as some other years, the Denver Mint occasionally produced coins with slight anomalies that pique collector interest. Examples might include repunched mint marks or minor die breaks, which, while not common, provide an added dimension for specialists. These varieties serve as reminders of the human and mechanical aspects of coin production. Machines were not perfect, dies wore out, and subtle variations slipped into circulation. For collectors who love to study coins closely, these minor differences transform the 1950 into an object of ongoing fascination. Beyond its technical and historical attributes, the 1950 wheat penny also carries a sense of nostalgia. Many people who grew up in the 1950s remember using these coins in their daily lives, and for them, the penny holds sentimental value that goes beyond its numismatic worth. This emotional connection often drives demand among hobbyists who collect, not only for investment, but also for personal satisfaction. A coin like the 1950D can evoke memories of simpler times, making it a meaningful addition to any collection. Another important aspect of its value lies in its role within the broader market for Lincoln cents. As new generations of collectors enter the hobby, wheat pennies remain one of the most popular entry points because they are relatively affordable in lower grades, yet offer exceptional challenges in higher-end pieces. This dual nature makes them appealing to both beginners and advanced collectors alike. The 1950D, sitting at the crossroads of availability and scarcity, embodies this balance perfectly. It can be obtained by beginners in worn condition, but for advanced collectors seeking exceptional examples, it represents a true prize. This dynamic ensures that the coin's market remains active, keeping its value strong year after year. The 1950D Wheat Penny's $3,200 value in today's market may seem surprising to those unfamiliar with coin collecting, but it is a testament to how numismatics assigns worth not only through rarity, but also through historical significance and enduring demand. It's not just about the number of coins minted, it's about how many have survived in desirable condition, how many collectors are competing for them, and how deeply they connect to the larger story of America. Every coin carries within it a piece of the nation's journey, and the 1950D is no exception. Looking at the broader picture, the 1950D Wheat Penny is a reminder that value can emerge in unexpected places. What was once a humble cent exchanged countless times in daily life has, through the passage of time and the persistence of collectors, become an asset worth thousands of dollars. Its story is one of endurance. Despite being produced in large numbers, only a select few have made it through the decades in a state that excites collectors and drives competitive bidding. This transformation from everyday change to coveted collectible highlights the magic of numismatics and the enduring allure of Lincoln cents. For those who hold one today, the 1950D is not simply a coin. It is a bridge to the past, a marker of American resilience and prosperity in the post-war years, and a symbol of the collector's quest for completeness and quality. Whether found in a family collection, purchased at a show, or won at auction, the thrill of owning a coin that can reach values up to $3,200 is undeniable. It represents more than money. It represents history, heritage, and the ongoing fascination that coins inspire across generations. Next up, the 1953D Lincoln Wheat Penny holds a special place in numismatics, not because it was struck in extraordinarily low numbers, but because of how its journey from pocket change to collectible reflects the unpredictable nature of coin values. Produced at the Denver Mint during the mid-20th century, the coin emerged in an era when America was firmly entering a period of post-war growth. The Korean War had just ended. The U.S. economy was booming, and coins like the 1953D were part of the daily lives of millions of Americans. At the time, no one suspected that decades later, this small cent, struck by the millions, would become a highly desirable collectible, with top examples commanding values as high as $3,000. Its story is a reminder that rarity in numismatics is not always about mintage numbers alone, but also about survival, preservation, and collector demand. To understand the significance of the 1953D, one must first consider the environment in which it was minted. The early 1950s were a time of confidence in the United States. Suburban neighborhoods were expanding rapidly. Cars and consumer goods were being purchased in record numbers, and people were using cash for virtually all transactions. Coins, especially pennies, circulated heavily as part of everyday commerce. A single cent could buy gum or help pay for a phone call, making pennies essential in daily life. The Denver Mint supplied much of the western United States with coinage, and the 1953D pennies were widely distributed into circulation. Because they were used so frequently, very few were set aside in pristine condition, and this explains why examples in exceptional state are rare today. Another interesting aspect of the 1953 wheat penny is how it fits into the broader Lincoln cent series. Collectors love to assemble complete sets, covering every year and mint mark from 1909 to 1958. While some issues in the series are famous for their low mintages or key date status, coins like the 1953 fill an equally important role. They may not be rare in the sense of having limited production, but they are essential to completing a set. And when collectors compete to obtain the finest possible specimens for their albums or registry sets, even seemingly ordinary dates like the 1953 suddenly become very competitive. That competition, combined with scarcity in superb condition, is exactly what has propelled its market value to levels as high as $3,000. Auction history provides fascinating insights into this phenomenon. Over the years, coins from 1953 that have been preserved with their original brilliance have surfaced at major sales, sparking bidding wars among collectors. While well-worn examples may sell for only a modest sum, coins with vibrant color, minimal marks, and strong strikes have reached thousands of dollars at auction. These dramatic price differences show how condition and desirability interact to shape the numismatic market. Each coin is judged not just as a piece of metal, but as an individual artifact with its own story, and the best survivors from 1953 stand out as true gems in the hobby. Error varieties and minting quirks also add an element of excitement to the 1953 issue. The Denver Mint in the 1950s was not immune to minor mistakes, and specialists have identified coins with repunched mint marks or die breaks that make them more intriguing to study. While not every collector pursues varieties, those who do are willing to pay premiums for distinctive pieces. These varieties serve as a reminder that minting technology of the mid-20th century was not flawless, and small differences slipped into circulation unnoticed at the time. Today, those same anomalies can turn an already desirable coin into something even more special, adding depth and diversity to collections. The historical context also enriches the appeal of the 1953 wheat penny. The early 1950s were years of dramatic change in American life. Television was becoming a household fixture, cars with chrome and fins symbolized prosperity, and the Cold War was shaping international politics. Against this backdrop, pennies like the 1953 were exchanged in stores, schools, diners, and gas stations, silently witnessing the rhythms of everyday life. Collectors who hold one today often see it as more than a coin. They see it as a time capsule, a direct link to a period of optimism and cultural transformation. This emotional dimension cannot be underestimated, as it adds an intangible value that numbers alone cannot capture. The 1953 also serves as an excellent example of how collector psychology drives value. Unlike gold coins or silver dollars, pennies were rarely saved in large quantities. People often considered them too common to bother preserving, so while millions were minted, very few remained untouched by circulation. This is why today's collectors scramble for the few examples that survived in exceptional state. The coin's appeal lies in this contrast: abundant in its day, scarce in its prime form now. That scarcity ensures continued interest and market strength as collectors compete to add the best available pieces to their holdings. It's worth emphasizing the role of eye appeal in shaping the coin's value. Even within the same year and mint mark, not all pennies look alike. Some 1953 cents display warm, original red luster, while others have toned into shades of brown, gold, or even rainbow hues. Coins with vibrant, uniform color and pleasing surfaces attract more attention from collectors, often selling for higher sums than their less attractive counterparts. Eye appeal is subjective, but it remains one of the most powerful forces in the coin market, and the 1953 is a perfect case study of how appearance can make all the difference in value. Another factor that enhances the status of the 1953 wheat penny is its accessibility. Unlike some key date coins that are prohibitively expensive in any condition, the 1953D can still be found in circulated grades at affordable prices, making it a popular entry point for new collectors. At the same time, its high-end examples remain elusive and valuable, offering a challenge for advanced collectors. This duality, affordable for beginners yet competitive at the top, ensures that the 1953D appeals to a broad spectrum of numismatists. It keeps the coin relevant across generations, as both casual hobbyists and serious investors find reasons to pursue it. Looking at its journey over time, the 1953D Wheat Penny demonstrates how ordinary objects can evolve into treasured collectibles. At first glance, it was just another penny struck in Denver during the 1950s, destined to circulate unnoticed. Yet the passage of decades, combined with collector passion, has elevated it to a status where it can command thousands of dollars. Its transformation is a microcosm of numismatics itself, the art of finding extraordinary value in the seemingly ordinary. For collectors, owning a 1953D is not just about its market worth, but about being part of that story, part of the ongoing dialogue between history, rarity, and appreciation. Today, the coin continues to captivate the numismatic community. Whether found in an inherited collection, discovered in an old roll, or purchased from a dealer, the 1953D penny offers both historical intrigue and financial reward. Its $3,000 market value is not simply a reflection of metal content or face value. It is the result of history, scarcity, demand, and the human fascination with preserving the past. As collectors build and improve their sets, the competition for this coin ensures that it remains a vibrant and valuable part of the market. Ultimately, the 1953D Wheat Penny is more than just copper struck with a familiar design. It is a piece of American life from the 1950s, a testament to how coins travel through history and a symbol of how numismatics turns everyday objects into artifacts of enduring significance. From its origins in the bustling Denver Mint to its role in today's collections, it has proven itself as a coin of lasting importance. With values reaching as high as $3,000, it reminds us that the smallest coins often carry the biggest stories, and that within even the humblest cent lies a wealth of history, culture, and collector passion. Next up, the 1956. Wheat Penny with the D mint mark is one of those coins that, at first glance, might seem ordinary, but upon closer inspection, reveals why collectors place such a strong demand on it. Struck in the Denver Mint during the mid-1950s, this coin holds historical weight because it was minted near the end of the Wheat Penny era. By 1959, the reverse design was changed to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, marking the introduction of the memorial reverse design. This makes the 1956D penny one of the last issues of its iconic type. The coin has managed to maintain not only historical charm, but also surprising value in today's market. Currently, its worth can climb as high as $2,400, a striking figure considering its humble 1-cent face value. The reasons behind this value are varied, and each element, historical context, collector enthusiasm, rarity in particular conditions, and the nostalgia tied to the coin's era, adds layers to why it is such a standout. To truly appreciate the 1956D Wheat Penny, one must understand the circumstances of American coinage at the time. The Denver Mint was known for high production numbers, and 1956 was no exception, as millions of pennies were produced. However, sheer volume does not automatically translate into diminished value. On the contrary, while many 1956D pennies were struck, the number that survived in exceptional condition or were preserved before they experienced heavy circulation is dramatically smaller. Most coins entered the economy, passed through countless hands, and endured the natural wear and tear of daily usage. Those surviving in pristine or near-pristine states are now highly prized by numismatists. This scarcity in well-preserved examples is a major driver of their market appeal. The coin's timeline also makes it important in the broader arc of American numismatic history. The wheat penny had been introduced in 1909 and had become a familiar presence in the pockets and purses of Americans for decades. By 1956, the design was nearing its retirement, which gives the last few years of the series extra historical weight. Collectors often seek to complete typesets or date and mint mark runs, and the 1956 D penny naturally plays a critical role in that pursuit. In fact, its connection to the approaching design shift enhances the desirability of acquiring it. While earlier wheat pennies from the 1910s or 1920s are celebrated for their age, the later issues like the 1956 D are valued for their place at the threshold of change. This transitional historical moment adds to their allure. Another factor to consider is collector psychology. Many enthusiasts are drawn to coins that bridge personal or generational history. For instance, individuals who grew up in the 1950s, or whose parents and grandparents collected coins from that era often feel a nostalgic attachment to these later wheat pennies. This emotional connection drives up demand in ways not entirely tied to rarity alone. The 1956 D penny, being one of the last readily available wheat pennies, often becomes a cornerstone of family collections. When emotional and generational ties converge with numismatic demand, the value of a coin can skyrocket beyond expectations. The market value of $2,400 for the 1956 D penny might surprise those unfamiliar with coin collecting, especially since the mintage numbers were high. However, when studied closely, this value is not surprising at all. What buyers are paying for is not simply copper, but history, nostalgia, and a link to a changing era in American coinage. In addition, demand is influenced by auction results, where specific high-grade examples of this coin have fetched thousands, setting benchmarks that ripple across the market. Each time a notable sale occurs, the reputation of the coin strengthens, inspiring more collectors to seek it out, which in turn increases competitive bidding and overall market activity. Furthermore, the 1950s were a fascinating time in U.S. history, marked by economic growth, post-war optimism, and a surge in consumerism. Owning a coin from 1956 is, in a way, owning a piece of that mid-20th century cultural fabric. Collectors are not just buying metal, they are purchasing a tangible link to a period of American prosperity, a time when pennies still had purchasing power and when families might keep change jars filled with coins that today would be considered collectibles. For many collectors, the 1956 D penny acts as a window into that world. It is also worth noting that the coin's value lies in its ability to attract both serious collectors and casual enthusiasts. Some collectors pursue it as part of a complete wheat penny collection, while others may stumble upon one in a family coin jar or inherited box of coins and, upon research, realize its potential worth. That moment of discovery often sparks a deeper interest in numismatics. The 1956 D penny, therefore, serves not only as a collector's prize, but also as a gateway coin, an entry point for those just beginning to explore the hobby. This dual role ensures that it remains in circulation within the collector's market, continually stimulating demand. Looking at broader numismatic patterns, coins like the 1956 D penny gain traction not only for their inherent qualities, but also because of the communities built around collecting. Collectors' clubs, coin shows, and online auctions often highlight such coins, keeping them at the forefront of discussions and making them desirable targets. A coin story is told and retold in these settings, and the 1956 D penny, with its rich historical backdrop, becomes more than a small copper disc. It transforms into a narrative piece that represents a slice of history. This storytelling aspect cannot be overlooked because it plays directly into why people are willing to pay thousands for what was once only a cent. Interestingly, the 1956 D penny also illustrates the unpredictable nature of numismatic value. Many people may assume that only centuries-old coins or those with extreme minting errors can fetch high prices. Yet, this relatively modern coin from the mid-20th century proves otherwise. Its rise in market value to $2,400 demonstrates that even coins within living memory can become numismatic treasures. This unpredictability keeps the hobby vibrant and exciting, encouraging collectors to hold on to coins that might one day exceed expectations. Finally, the 1956 Wheat Penny exemplifies how a coin's true worth extends beyond its material. The copper itself is insignificant in monetary terms, but the history, scarcity and fine condition, collector passion, and generational significance elevate it to a remarkable status. With a current market value of $2,400, it stands as proof that every coin has a story, and sometimes those stories are worth far more than the face value stamped upon them. For anyone lucky enough to possess this coin, it is not merely a cent, it is a rare artifact of American history that continues to capture imaginations and wallets alike. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing coins.